Subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man. So okay, so you come to Rap Live. You had brought too much trouble to Jay. What's the first kind of group or whatever situation that you get your hands on with the company where you like, okay, now we moving and I'm doing this. This what I'm.
Well, I had always like to have jazz management, and it was four us on the jazz management. It was me, Dewey, Steve, and Chief. So any artist that was on jazz management, we managed those artists, and it was like at the time.
Was every artist going through jazz management?
The majority of them. The majority of the artists went through jazz management because they didn't have a management company. Except I think Big Mike. I think Big Mike was probably one of the only artists that probably didn't come through jazz. But the majority of the artists, they came through jazz management. So, you know, I got a chance to be trained by Chief. Cause Chief was a hell of a manager.
Can you talk about Chief a little bit? Cause I always hear how Chief, like everybody's like, nah, Chief was that dude, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh, Chief taught me everything. When it came to management, gonna teach you everything. That's one thing about us. Wasn't nothing left out.
Nobody hiding the game. Yeah.
Oh no, no. And Chief,
what's the things he's telling you like? This is what makes you a manager. Like, what's some of those?
Make sure everybody make it home safe. That was our key, man. Make sure everybody made it home safe and get that money. Don't go on that stage unless you got the other half of that money. Man.
Back in, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one thing do not go on that stage.
I heard about Chief in the back ends, yeah.
You ain't getting nothing, man. Don't let them people go on that stage unless you got, and you're gonna go to them dressing room, make sure everything, that whole rider was ever on that rider. All the airline tickets, the room where you get to a hotel, somebody signed to go to that counter and get everybody keys and make a room key list. And everybody in management got a list of where everybody room at, where everybody at. So, you know, it was a lot of responsibility. Wasn't no just you on the road having a good time, not management. You know, the artists can enjoy themselves, but man, you got to make sure they all right and make sure they make it back home. That was our main thing, is security and making sure the artist is well taken care of and they make it back home. So,
is there any time you remember, like, man, I had to go and make sure that this money was right over here and this and that? Like, is there any times that stick out from that?
Oh, man, you going to run into them kind of promoters. Because you losing, I don't mean I got to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got them kind of promoters. Well, man, we ain't got but 400 people, and I supposed to have. Hey, man, you need to come up with the rest of that money. And people ain't going on the stage till you get the rest of that money. But then me personally, like if it was me and the Fifth Ward Boys, some Devin the Dude, some of the smaller acts, if I'm on the road with them and I know this a good promoter, and I talk with them, I'm like, man, well, if you ain't got all the money, how many other shows you think you got that you can put them on and we'll pick up the money on the other end? And I ask them, do they want to do it first before, if they don't have all the money, I'm going to confide in them to see if they want to still do the show and get the part of the money that they do have, and we get some more money in the future from the same promoter. Cause you got some promoters, man, they treat you good. And when they lose, I don't want to be like, man, go on, you ain't got my money, man. So I used to always try to treat people how I wanted to be treated. And that way in the future, you never know where they're gonna be in the next 5 years. You don't know what people gonna be, cause
you put you on an even bigger show, and yeah.
So that's how I used to do that sometime when, you know, they don't have all. But then I know you just trying to bull me. Oh no.
Yeah.
Man, let's get in the van.
Yeah.
You know, we had like, then they gonna come up with the money. Well, you had it all the time, cause that's part of the contract. Regardless, if you don't get the money, you should have had the money. So, you know, what they were calling them janky promoters.
Janky promoter, yeah.
Yeah, they had them kind. So yeah, you had to beware of them kind.
Was it a lot of situations like that? Because it ain't only that you starting early in the label. This is still very early in like hip hop. So it's still like the idea of we doing rap and we moving around, and you know what I'm saying, like when y'all where people Was it a hard time accepting like a Southern label coming through certain places when y'all went out on the road and shit like that?
Man, just I think not in the Midwest and the South. Cause if we got through the South and made it to Cleveland, Cincinnati, Chicago, Milwaukee, Louisville, Kentucky, man, that's like home. Man, the Midwest, I think we sold more records and done more shows in the Midwest than we did in the South.
That's right, because Chicago they were one of the first cities to really gravitate to rap a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. And you got to look at the whole Midwest, though. Man, the whole Midwest love the South. I'm talking about you running everybody out in the South that's from the South. 8-Ball, MJG. You going to run into all them cats, that 666 Mark. Everybody, you going to run into all them dudes in the Midwest doing shows together because the Midwest love Southern artists. The Midwest love it was just like home away from home. When you get to the Midwest, it's like only spot that I can't see a big following in, which we've done a lot of shows there, was like Arkansas. For some reason, because they had this gang banging mentality early. So it was like they couldn't get a lot of stuff going at the time. Then you had you wouldn't believe, even though San Antonio was right there.
They wasn't fucking with it in San Antonio?
Yeah, they was, but man, sometime before we even do a show in San Antonio, some of them broke out.
No shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some will break out before you even get a chance to perform.
What they had going on in San Antonio?
Same thing.
Gang shit.
Yep.
No shit.
But now when you go to Baton Rouge, Georgia, Mississippi, like Jackson, Mississippi was another one of our favorite spots too. Jackson, Mississippi. They was live down there. Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. You know, most of the southern states, kind of Mobile. You know, we just ran all down through there. But you know, that's why you got regional records and you got national records. You know, and a lot of artists just was regional artists. You know, they couldn't break out the South. That's why when you break out the South and going into the Midwest and then going into Detroit and different places like that, you kind of can say, man, we kind of burning this thing up. But it's just was something about New York. We could never crack New York, but they was buying our music, but we wasn't doing no shows down there.
No shit. I know they got the infamous Ghetto Boy stories, them being booed and then coming back with Mind Playing Tricks. So even after that, it still wasn't like that.
You know, artists like Scarface, Bushwick Bill. Them people love Bushwick Bill, though. Rest in peace. And they love Bushwick. But just some of our other artists, they buying the music, but we wasn't doing no shows. We wasn't doing no bunch of shows on the East Coast. I think Philadelphia. We done quite a few shows in Philly, in DC, you know, Baltimore, in those markets, but just New York, New Jersey, we ain't done.
Donnie Houston.